I purchased a new motorcycle for the first time in 14 years. It's not a V-twin. I haven't had a four-cylinder bike since 2012, and this is quite one of them. I did quite a bit of research. I did a lot of comparison. I did a lot of riding motorcycles and riding around motorcycles and looking at bikes for sale, used, new, everything, you name it. And I landed on a naked bike. I want a four-cylinder, and I kind of want it to be pretty serious, so there's really only 3 or 4 bikes in that category, and this and the H2Z essentially are the best ones. And the H2 is heavy, like 100 pounds heavier than this when they're all stock, and it's got a lot of power, of course. I just don't like it that heavy. I've already got a heavy motorcycle, and it stands. So this one I wanted to be relatively light, and so of course it's a 2025 Yamaha MT-10 base version, no SP. I wanted something just kind of traditional, regular, normally adjustable forks, not electronic. I like electronic, but it's more stuff to break, and if I want to keep it for a long time, it's something I don't want to deal with down the road. Nothing at all I want to deal with down the road. I've heard everybody's complaints about, oh, the brakes are weak. You gotta change the pads and the lines. And yeah, sure, they're like rubber lines, and like just cheap pads. And yeah, I'll throw some EBC double H's and some Galfer double lines on there, steels, and be good to go. It is what it is. We'll do that eventually. We'll do some pipes eventually. I've been ordering stuff. Today. I paid for it today. Ordered a windshield, ordered a slip-on muffler, ordered a tank protector, tank bag, because I need a tiny little tank bag, wouldn't hurt. I ordered like one more thing, and I can't remember what it is now. But anyway, I need to order the tail tidy, a couple things. I'm going to commute on it a lot, so I'll eventually order a comfort seat and the heated hand grips, because they're actually cheaper than I thought they'd be. They're pretty cheap, so they're worth it. And in terms of changing up a lot of things, a lot of people get like the side fill panels and stuff, but I really don't care. I'd rather just show off the motor and the frame. That's why it's a naked bike. You don't put more body work on a naked bike. I thought about it. I looked at them and I was like, nah, I'm good. I put a windshield on and I'm happy. Something that's just taller than that stock little doodad, because it's not very good. But the thing's, it's insanely fast and powerful and fun. It's got the, torquey detuned R1 motor, with I think a claimed 165 horsepower. Out of the box from the factory, with everything stock. This thing's got all the power modes, and I'm used to that from my Pan America now, having like the electronic throttle with the adjustable power modes. And I basically, once I did like the first 10 miles, I just put it in A mode and left it there. Being an experienced rider that understands, horsepower, torque, power wheelies and things like that, that you have to deal with a fast bike like this. This is just nothing new to me, having to do that. So it is what it is. We're good to go. Just leave it in power mode A. I have left the lift control in the stock setting for A, which is, I think, the second, which is the medium setting, right? And putting it in, if you move it up to setting 1, it's the most aggressive, and it'll let you lift it even more. Put it down in setting 3, it'll be the most restrictive. So setting 2 is the factory one for A, so I'm just leaving it in there for now. And yeah, it does power wheelie. Even in that setting, it will power wheelie in every gear up until 4th when you are lighting it up, so it does exactly what you want it to. I need to clean it. It's a little buggy. I figured I don't need to clean the windshield because I'm about to take it off, but I think there's like a bug on the high beam. But I love this transformer aesthetic, and the ice blue, like matte denim, flat, whatever you want to call it, gray with the, fucking cyan blue, storm blue, whatever they call them, wheels. I like it. You know, it's different. It's weird. You know, the R1, basically the R1 frame and basically the R1 motor gives it a ton of performance. So, you know, if you compare this to everything else, of course, you can watch all the comparison videos like I did, you know, compared to the CB1000 and the Z900 and the H2 and you know, the 3 other Yamaha MTs, you know, comparing like the big 3, the 7, 9, and 10, you know, everybody's like, oh, the 9 is great. It's like, guess what? I don't want the 9. My criteria was 4-cylinder all along. I wanted a 4-cylinder. I have 4 V-twins. I'm trying to sell one of them because, you know, hell, I'm used to torquey motors, I'm used to grunty motors, and you know, the funniest thing is it's easier to wheelie my Harley Davidson Pan America than it is to wheelie this thing. Now again, I need to put in lift control 1 and that might change, but as of right now in the settings that I've been riding it in for the past week, it will do it. And like say power wheeling in every gear change is different than like it does that where the Pan America won't do that. Pan America's not that kind of bike. But in terms of like being in second gear at like a mild, medium, lowish RPM and just whacking the throttle and the thing standing up at 6 o'clock, the Pan America does that better. Now, is it because it's heavier with a little bit better weight distribution and very tall and springy suspension? All of the above. Yes, 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 yes. That makes it easier to wheelie. Especially for someone that doesn't really know what they're doing. So, again, this is my first like 4-cylinder in 14 years. Don't roast me in the comments. I know I normally ride Harley Davidsons and Buells. I still love riding Harley Davidson and Buells. I have not got rid of my Pan America. I will keep keeping the Pan America because you think it's a little better to ride that 2-up than this? I think so. Well, I'm sure this is pretty good at 2-up for the most part. I think as long as I have an old Dyna and a Pan America that are better for it, that'll be the 2-up bikes. This is right now a solo bike. You see, I'm riding with some people, and while all my bikes can keep up aside from the Dyna, the Pan America is a little sketchy keeping up with Gixxers and stuff like that. You know, it's a little too tall and gets a little wobbly, and my Buell will do it, but it likes to throw the check engine light at say like the extremes of the riding that you may do with Gixxer riders and things like that. You know, it doesn't like doing the ton that long. It's still a Sportster air-cooled derivative. You know, as good as it is, as good as the Buells are, as wonderful as they are, and as much as I love them, and as much as I'm going to keep my red Buell forever and ever, maybe not this, but definitely the red Buell. Definitely I'll keep it forever. It can hang with, you know, modern liquid-cooled sport bikes on the streets, but out on the roads, you need a modern liquid-cooled sport bike. And while I think like the MT-09 is a very cool machine, and the MT-07 also a very cool machine, I may end up getting one as well, I wanted something that had no issue at all keeping up. I wanted no problem keeping up. And guess what? I've got no problem keeping up. And soon it'll be even better. Hey. So of course this is the first update. I probably should fire the bike up. Stand by. This ought to be the last time that I post it this quiet. Got a nice little cold start. But if you can hear me over the pipe, it's too quiet. And of course, you've got a lot of intake noise that come out of these bad boys, these snorkels with the little vent here. The vent is to let some of the air back out at you, so you hear the it's like this grunty noise. Pan America is also very good at intake noise, so is the Buell, but this thing's got a lot of whoop, whoop. Of course, you're not really hearing the cross plane. But once I get a pipe on here, it'll sound much better. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video.